Welcome to the Salt Pile Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, he can be talked into anything. It's Ben.
Oh, yeah. I certainly can. I played a lot of Marvel Rivals since we talked about Marvel Rivals. It wasn't that hard of a sell. Honestly, like, I don't know, man. Like, it's very funny after playing it. I feel like the sell should have been easier. Honestly, like, it's so not. I was thinking it was. Everybody kept, because it's a hero shooter, right? So everybody's like, "Oh, it's Overwatch, but good. It's Overwatch, but this. Oh, maybe it's Overwatch, but worse. I don't fucking know." For me personally, terrible fucking comparison to be like, it's Overwatch, but like good, because like I'm not that high on Overwatch. And this doesn't, to me, I'm like, this doesn't feel like Overwatch because it's fun. What a good time. What a good time. We played a bunch. I played a little on my own. Did I play on my own? I think I did play on my own. It was like once. And that's because I wanted to go to practice mode, and I forgot that it just defaults to quick match. So I was, and there's no turning back. You hit that button, you're in. You're locked the fuck in because it's instant.
That's true.
You weren't kidding
There's no second guessing,
dude.
yourself.
There's no like, oh wait, I queued wrong. It's too late. You're committed. It's so funny, dude. You weren't lying at all. Like, you hear it like, no, the queue times are like instant. It's not hyperbole. It's literally, you press the fucking button and you're gone. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Even the one time when we were playing and I was like, I didn't get to upvote anybody.
That will happen because you can re-queue right from that fucking end screen.
Oh god, yeah, one more round or whatever. It's so dangerous.
Yeah. It's extremely dangerous. For just losing fucking time too.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's because it's the instant. It's like, bro, you're in a match immediately. Like Arena sometimes will. Its version of finding you a match instant will be like the cancel button disappears, but there's still like you're still on that same waiting screen for a little bit.
Yeah. I'll say, the only thing with my experience is that it's still instant. You're still like locked in, but because I'm on Steam Deck, the loading is a little rough.
Oh, sure.
But just the fact that I could play on Steam Deck is kind of insane to me. I read that it was playable, but sometimes when I check out stuff that's playable, for example, people are like, what was the game I looked up? Pacific Drive. And they're like, oh, this is like totally playable. Like it runs pretty smooth if you like cap the frame rate, and like you forget that you're playing at like 20 frames a second. I'm like, I won't forget. I'm not gonna forget. 20 frames a second is not playable. There are some cases where like I could see an argument for like 30 in some cases, depending, but like 20 is, what are you doing here? Like I said, the game looks like shit for me. It's not great, but I can suss out what's going on. It's not god awful, and this has been at 1080p docked on a big TV, so it's probably a little exaggerated. I have an old monitor that I'm gonna try next time I play, and even if it's still like I have rough settings, it'll look better because it's a little squished. Assuming it lets me do full screen. If it doesn't let me do full screen, we're going to have an interesting time.
Play at 720.
True.
480p. I don't know how low it goes.
Dude, that's it. Well, here's the thing. It's not a... I could get away with like probably 800. Well, I think the monitor is 1024 by 768, so I could get away with like 800 by 600 maybe. But it's not a CRT, so it's not gonna like, it doesn't have the same flexibility. It's an early LCD.
Gotcha.
But either way, it's still any amount of lower res will help it look a little better.
Yeah.
If it goes full screen, playing widescreen on a full screen that small is not super ideal. For a game like that, like Street Fighter or something, it's fine because there's two big characters on screen. But don't know if you noticed, Marvel Rivals gets a little cluttered sometimes.
It's a little hectic sometimes also.
Dude, it's crazy. There's been exactly one instance where I think my FPS like dipped to like 40. And it was like literally everybody popped into alt at once, and there was so much shit on screen. Like, oh, we're chugging. But that's only
it's either everyone pops their alt or just Doctor Strange opens a portal in the middle of the fight. It's one or the other.
The portal thing I was worried about, but that hasn't done anything yet as far as like notable performance.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe because it's already low enough.
It is. I think they patched it a little bit at least, but I don't think it's still not. It's still like giving hits to performance that it really shouldn't be.
Sure.
If it's going to be that big a part, like a major part of the game.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like what gives, if I've noticed anything else that like really tanked it. I can't think of anything offhand. I think it's just like, yeah, all the different, like when everybody is popping at once, there's just so many effects going on. Because like the only thing I can think of is like Squirrel Girl's alt. That's like a lot of extra stuff on screen, but that doesn't tank or anything.
Sure.
Game has also made me realize my aim is ass, dude. On mouse keyboard anyway, it's brutal. I think it's just been so long. The only like FPS I've been playing since, I mean, like 2021. Maybe it's slightly. I forget when my PC fully shit out. It was either sometime in late 2020 or it was in like early 2021 or something. I haven't played anything mouse and keyboard like shooting wise since then. I've just been like, if I do, it's Halo, and I do that on controller. So part of me is I should maybe try controller next time I play and see if like I'm just more used to controller at this point and that would be a little better, or if due to the nature of this game it will feel like ass, because the thing in Halo is they got saucy aim assist.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. I was playing on controller the other day because my fucking when we were playing, because my fucking
your mouse
computer broke kind of weird. Game bar, I think, fucked up.
His mouse escaped.
It would not lock to a single monitor. So I was just using a controller as a workaround.
The funniest part was that you went to Groot and we kicked ass. Like,
yeah, it was fine. Like, it's totally playable with a controller. It's less fun for me.
Oh yeah,
than playing mouse and keyboard. Or yeah,
no, like I mean, if this had come out like 4 years ago and I was trying to play on controller, it'd be bad times. I'm also, if I may make some more excuses, it's like a $5 mouse on a uneven wooden surface. It's fine, but it's not ideal.
Sure.
The sun is in my eyes. Like, there's a bit of lag.
Get back to me when you're playing. No. You're like playing Dota, manually clicking your abilities on a thumb pad that's in the middle of your laptop
right, you were
keyboard.
playing with the fucking clitoris or whatever. That's so cursed. It's like when I was playing,
and I didn't use hotkeys either. I was just like manually clicking all my abilities.
So, Jesus Christ, dude, that's so awful. Like, I sometimes would manually click abilities just like cuz, I guess, but that was with like a real mouse at least. I was playing Rocket League with people once, and we were doing okay. They were like a little newer, but one dude was doing pretty solid, and we got to talk, and it turns out he'd been playing the entire time on a laptop trackpad, and I was like, that's insane.
When you do it all the time, you get good at it.
But he hadn't been doing it like that long at all.
Oh, sure.
He was like newer. That was like his first big session. And I was like, oh my god. I guess if you're playing everything else that way.
Yeah, if you're using a trackpad, you get used to it. I haven't used a trackpad in a long ass time now, so I probably wouldn't be. I don't know that those skills are probably atrophied. Yeah, I don't know, but I got used to the. I didn't honestly use the fucking laptop nub that often.
Just call it the.
I got used to it pretty quick.
Just come on.
Those things are good though, honestly.
Oh yeah,
they're very effective.
No, it's like anything, right? You use it a little bit, you get used to it, and it's like, can adapt.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been a really fun.
I just have so much more fun playing Mantis mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's been more fun.
I've gotten a little better at getting hits. It's also a little bit I can't honestly remember the last time I played a third person game like that. In any capacity. So it's not like you're still just aiming, right? It's not like technically any different, but like it just fucks with my brain a little bit. Like visually, like especially going from I was doing a little just to get like warmed up, get a little back in the action. I went into practice mode. I turned off my crosshairs just to like get a feel. And I was doing that with Hella. And then I changed to Luna Snow, and it was just so different feeling. Even though it was hitting like the same place, I was just so off by like a little bit. I don't know. But it's good.
That's why crosshairs exist.
Yeah. But it's.
I weirdly feel a little more comfortable in third person shooter things than first person. I don't know. I think it's I got a little motion sick with first person stuff sometimes, so
gotcha.
That might be part of it. But
I mean, I was gonna say I feel much better in this than Overwatch, just because like you get free awareness, right? When it's third person, like in first person, someone could be hitting
not
you
always
from
enough.
behind. Not always enough.
I still get hit from behind plenty.
But like if someone's right behind you, or like coming, like you just get more of that feedback, or like you can see around corners and stuff. Like I like it a lot better for this genre, and also I think the third person kind of helps me stay a little bit more in a MOBA state of mind. When I'm in, as soon as you zoom me into first person, I'm like, I'm cracked. I'm gonna fucking go in there and 1v6 as like Luna Snow or something. Like I can't get my brain to like chill. But this, I'm like, okay, I can see my entire character. I need to ease up. There's a lot of people over there.
Look, there's nothing like playing Mantis and realizing this is my opportunity. I can go in and like kill 3 people.
Oh yeah, dude. It was so funny when I was trying to heal as Luna Snow that was one of the matches I was alone. And I'm like, yeah, I did pretty good with her like the last game or whatever. I'll go in. And then my team had like 4 flyers. I'm like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to any healer ever. And and we were like getting our ass kicked. I switched to Mantis, instant victory. Like immediately, like because I think we had 4 damage. And like just sauce him up. I don't even know if I had to heal. Just give him all the juice and let him take care of it. It felt so good. I was like, that was the first time I'd played Mantis. I'm like, holy shit.
Feels really good.
Yeah,
it feels really, because I mean, it's just a thing I like to do. Like, Lily and Hots do damage, but be the healer. Like that's kind of.
Yeah, I've noticed.
If you give me a character that can do that, I'm so happy. I'm thrilled.
Hell yeah. My as a Magic main, I play Penny more than anyone else. I've done I've done real good with Penny. She's very fun.
I don't have a good feel for her, I would say. I feel like you're just sitting around. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to play her better than what I was doing.
Yeah, there's a bit of sitting, but yeah, getting the.
And if you're just sitting around, I feel like Groot is the best.
Dude, Groot is so like your Groot was.
He's
so
not
cracked.
fucking going. He's not going anywhere. But you're putting up walls. You actually that's the character that most feels like I'm a fucking tank. I'm just gonna sit here and be annoying.
Yeah, dude. I think I'm not a great Groot. I fall a little into the like, oh, I'm gonna put up this strategic wall, and then I end up like blocking a teammate.
Hell yeah.
I'm good about like immediately putting it down though, right? Like I'm pretty good about taking it down. But there was a couple of times that someone else was Groot and they'd let that wall just rock, and I'm like, come on, man. It's like when someone else is Nazebo and Hots, and I know that if they accidentally trap me with zombies, I'm just in the cage.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Or if you're playing with a rando Jeff and they're on your team and they eat you, you're just going off the side of the wall, the cliff with everyone else.
I'm glad there's some hate though. It's always good to have a team hate mechanic.
It's funny. Like that's the important thing.
Yeah, dude. Dude, that's the thing. Like this game, people. I saw some people saying that like they can't wait for roll queue, and I'm like, you gotta stop. I know that's not what this is. Get out of here. Maybe for ranked, if you bring that shit to ranked, I guess. Don't do it in casual.
Yeah, just don't do it. Don't bring that culture here. We're here to have fun.
Yeah.
As someone who's been playing ranked. And gotten eaten by Jeff, seen so many losses where Jeff eats 4 of us, and then we're just done.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get a Moon Knight skin if you hit gold, so I'm trying to hit gold.
Fuck. You could have not told me that. You know I'm easy. Come on, man. Don't be doing me like that.
It gives you an interesting. I'm like silver 2 currently.
Yeah.
It gives you that you're higher ranked than 84% of players who play this game. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
That definitely tracks. I've seen so many people. I think more than. I'm not online much anymore, and I'm not. Even when I wasn't looking at anything that had to do with ranked. Like it's been a long time. Probably the last thing was like Heroes of the Storm, and maybe Rocket League. But I've never seen. I peeped the subreddit briefly just to see what the place looked like. So many people are like, dog shit randos are keeping me in bronze, and I'm like, you gotta chill. Don't play fighting games, man. There's no one else to blame.
Keeping me in bronze.
Keeping me.
That's how that
they're
works.
doing it on purpose. It's so funny.
I mean, it is the thing. You could play those early matches. You could do great, and your team will just lose. It's fine.
Yeah,
you just gotta live with that. This is a team game. You can't get mad about that and play this video game.
Yeah,
but people are much chattier in ranked. Many more text chats.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of what like I guess it's not a thing that I'd. How do I fucking phrase it? Started talking before my train of thought.
Sure, I would say I'm someone who's doing ranked. I wouldn't really recommend it.
Yeah,
it's just I have the sickness, so I'm gonna.
Well, yeah, you decided to share with me.
Yeah.
The only reason I did Rocket League ranked is because you got sick wheels. And then when they said, oh, actually, because enough people complained that they're fucking bad at the game and they only got the bronze wheels, but they wanted the platinum wheels. Because that's like, that platinum was the cutoff for when they got like cool.
Yeah.
But there was still ones for like Diamond and Master, whatever. But they separated it so that it was what the hell was it? It wasn't if you hit that rank. It was like, I forget if they made it. It was like if you beat people of that rank. So like if you were in gold,
interesting,
and you got placed against platinum and you beat them, it would like that counter would go up. Or it was like getting enough wins in ranked would get you the wheels or something like that. Basically anybody could in theory achieve the cool wheels. And I was like, you took away my carrot effectively. Like I don't feel the need to play this mode anymore because now there's nothing saucy about this. How long do I have to get gold? Is it like the season? It's like a month, like 27 days now or whatever.
I don't know.
You know what? Let's
for that one. Because a big thing with this is the battle passes don't go away.
Oh, they're doing like the Master Chief Collection, the Halo style.
Yeah, you can finish them whenever.
The battle pass,
because they have this whole like weird thing of like you unlock them by gaining the. It's all about doing quests to get the currency for the battle passes. So you have to have a certain amount of currency to unlock the pages.
Yeah.
But then you spend the currency on the pages to actually get the stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of garbage.
And to get like the skins on the bottom of the page, you have to buy everything else on the page. Which was not true for the Hella skin, because the Hella skin was on top, the free one.
Yeah.
So I got fooled on that one, thinking it wasn't as bad as it is.
It looks like the ranked. I don't see how. I think the season is like another. Well, from when we're recording this, I think it's like 27 or 28 days left. Because
yeah, it's like a month and a half for season 0. Because they said it's half the length of a normal season, which is 3 months.
I see golden Moonlight skin for Moon Knight after getting gold rank, and then there's silver Crest of Honor, gold Crest of Honor, Grand Master rank, and top 500. So maybe there's not like things for platinum.
There's only a skin for a character at gold.
I just thought there was
I care about character skins. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. I mean, I would be going. If Street Fighter did like character skins for ranked, I'd be going crazy. I'd have 2,000 hours in that game already. But instead, it's just one. It's just one JPEG. So I'm like, I got the JPEG. I'm done. If they had ranked character skins. Oh
yeah. Yeah. I just need enough of a character. I enjoy the game.
I read this wrong. At gold rank, you get the Moon Knight skin. At Grandmaster rank, you get the silver Crest of Honor. The way it was formatted on the website, I thought that it was like a thing for silver. No, okay. That's silver Crest of Honor, and top 500 is gold Crest of Honor.
Okay.
Hank, we're getting those gold crests. After we're done with this recording, we're about to no-life this shit. We need to get those gold crests, man. This is the last time I'll be able to go absolutely sicko mode in a ranked game. There's no life.
Nah, we got fighting games to play.
That's true.
It's more important to me.
If you were gonna go you know what? That's a good stream question. If you were gonna go no life in a fighting game, what one would it be? We'll pretend that any fighting game has like a player base to eliminate that bias. Imagine any fighting game has a healthy ranked mode with perfect online. What game would you go sicko mode in?
I don't know. Asuka 120%.
Oh baby, that shit would be going crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Evil Zone.
Street Fighter 1.
Street Fighter 1, baby.
Mash Fest. Have you seen the video of the Lucky Kid versus Daigo?
No.
Dude, I'll have to send you the clip. It's like they like chose people from random from like a crowd, and I forget if they won like a signed thing or a controller and a game or what or something. But they also got to go like play a set against Daigo on stage at like this small event in Japan. This kid was going crazy. I mean, like he's not just like mashing and pressing but like focusing. I mean, he's slamming the fucking thing and he's like tilting his head back and like screaming. Like, it's so good. He's just going ham. And you can see Daigo like try not to crack up, like, because the kid's right next to him on stage.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's very good. We did play a fighting game. A topical one even. Recently, Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O, R.E.V.O. That is currently in its final couple of days of beta. It's been like a 5-day open beta.
Yeah.
We did a bit of it. I'll say from a technical perspective, pretty solid.
Yeah.
It
after you did whatever you had to do to make your
it has the
shit better.
It has the Tekken 8 problem. In Tekken 8, if the game is running like ass for one person, both people are going to be miserable.
Gotcha.
In Street Fighter
That's why I was
6,
getting extra rollback frames.
Yes. So in Street Fighter 6, if the game is running like ass for one person, I think only that person is miserable to an extent. But like in Tekken 8, if it's lagging a little for someone, like everybody's just cooked. And that was the case here. I had my settings on low with VSync on, and Hank was getting, what did you say, 13 rollback frames?
Yeah.
Just absolutely wrecked.
Plus the 2 delay frames.
Yes.
Normal, I think.
And then after that match, I turned my shit to lowest, turned off VSync, and it was perfectly fine. I didn't notice anything after that.
Then I was going between 2 to 4 rollback frames.
Yeah, which is like playable.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it runs. I think for offline, I could probably swing it on low. I think it would be fine in a normal match. But like online, the extra little bit just puts it a little much. I'm once again on Steam Deck, but ran great. Everything worked fine. No issues starting up. So that was really cool. With a beta especially, like you never really know how that shit's gonna work. So
totally.
So that was nice. You seemed like the game was a little sauceless for you.
Yeah, but that's been true of Virtua Fighter forever.
Yeah.
I've never been a huge Virtua Fighter fan. The most memorable thing about Virtua Fighter for me is the fucking super floaty jump.
Yeah.
It's only like the first game or whatever. Cuz that's what it like. Yeah, this is what Virtua Fighter is. And then Tekken happens, and so who cares about Virtua Fighter? It's like how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Once they figure out they don't have the floaty jump, and you don't jump at all, really, then it's lost its identity.
Yeah.
It's just these kind of not super engaging characters. Like, I don't find the character roster super engaging.
Yeah. For me,
and it's like a 2-button fighter. See, I hate having a block button. Is really like when we were playing, my main thing is like if I'm gonna play that game more, I need to rebind block onto like a shoulder button.
Oh yeah.
Because it was very hard for me on controller to switch from the attack buttons, which were I was on X and circle on the PlayStation, and then square is block with the default setup, and I just hate that. It like took me so long to switch modes between attacking and blocking. With my thumb.
The default how it mapped to I guess I was on leverless, not the fight stick, but I suppose it'd be the same. They had block on top. Like the far top left button, and then punch and kick were below. And I'm like, this is no good.
Yeah.
Cuz like your thumb,
that's how it's set up on. Because it's like the light punch equivalent was where block was.
Yeah, I hate that. So I switched it so that block was just on bottom, because then I could just use my thumb, pointer, and middle finger, and that was much more palatable. I think from what I've read, I've seen other people like in the server I'm in, like playing it, testing it, chatting about it. My understanding is that like the sauce of Virtua Fighter, if you're into it, is like there's so many fucking moves. Like it's really, as far as like countering,
it's incredibly technical.
It's incredibly technical, and it's very deep in that way, and it's very grounded. And I can appreciate that. There's like a weird in between of like Tekken and Virtua Fighter that's like perfect. Well, really, it's, you know what? That's just probably older Tekken games. I was gonna say, like, take out the heat system of 8, but keep the sauce and the specials, and like I'm living.
Yeah, you're right. Tekken 5 is the best game.
I was thinking of that before, and just now I'm like, wait, I'm just describing like older Tekken. But here's the
Tekken
thing.
5 is sick.
Older Tekken doesn't have Azucena, my coffee queen.
Nope, she's only in 8. She's not even in 7.
I know.
It's like if you got really into Lucky Chloe, who's only in 7.
Yeah, I just need to settle on. I mean, well, what's Tekken 5 on? Can we play Tekken 5?
Tekken 5's PS2.
Yeah, so we're cooked. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do like
Parsec. If we get into Parsec gaming, yeah.
Which
we should at least test.
If my parents' fiber internet hopefully fixed tomorrow, hopefully that would actually be fine. I bought an Ethernet cable.
Hell yeah.
My laptop, yeah, no, if we're doing Parsec, I'll just do it on my laptop, which should be fine. Yeah, we could try that out. Right now, I don't think there's a point on the current internet, because even if I'm wired, like, it's been very consistent, but meh. Yeah, it's I think it's. Are you gonna get Virtua Fighter 5? Do you think?
Yeah, it's like incredibly cheap. It's only like $15.
Yeah. That was my thinking.
Yeah. If it had been like 40, I would say probably not.
I know you said you didn't like her, like the military thing, but like that white-haired girl is crazy.
Yeah. Her style was good. I just didn't like her fucking victory thing.
Yeah. Look, I'll just pretend it's like, I don't know. Not I don't know where I was going with that. I had nothing and I started anyway.
Hell yeah. Podcasting.
Yeah. You know, you gotta, like, if I had something, anything, if I could have grasped anything there, I would have kept going, because, like, you never know. Maybe it would have been good. But it just stopped. The train tracks just ended.
Yeah. Me standing at a station looking both ways until the train shows up, because my brain takes a while to get going, usually. It's my problem. It's the startup. I'm turning the key.
The other day with that game, Phantom Breaker Omnia, and it was like so much later, you're like, it also doesn't have rollback. I'm like, Hank could spend like half an hour. Just leave it. It's dead. My mistake, I don't think I said this. My mistake in hindsight was, and I didn't intend for this. I didn't intend for it at all. But in hindsight, I see that it was a mistake specifically. Is I mentioned Asuka 120%. Yeah. In the same sentence. And I wasn't trying to compare it to that game. I was just trying to, like, the feeling that I had immediately was like, cool shit's happening. But mentioning that, I could see how if you had that in your brain and then went to Phantom Breaker, it'd be like, this is ass.
Yeah.
But for me, not having it in my brain, I was like, this feels cool. I'm hitting buttons and cool shit's happening. But then, like, it's not as, like, having played both of them now, like, yeah, no shit, it's not as cool as Oscar 20%. Like, it's not that cool. Like, fine, it's not, like, cool. It's like Nito or something. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like a janky. It felt janky. Like, I just didn't. The hit detection wasn't very good.
I also might have gotten the game wrong. The reason why I even brought it up is because there was some game that was like a spiritual. Someone called it a spiritual successor to Asuka 120%. I don't even know if it was Phantom Breaker now.
Okay.
I thought it was, but I don't know, man. My memory is toast. And I'm very easy to, like, I gaslight myself like once a day. No, I must have been wrong on this. Yeah, stuff happens.
Uh. So I think that's it for fighting games. I have some other video game stuff.
Yeah, you got go for it.
I don't know what I want to talk about this. So I played this game, Please Touch the Artwork 2, which is like a free, like, hidden object game, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very charming, and it has like good music. It was just like Paul played it and said it was good, and I was like, hey, I'll try this, and it was good. I don't know. There's like this skeleton man going through paintings, and then you have to like find objects. Like it's just a hidden object game. It's not fucking complicated, but it's just like a good short time.
Yeah, man.
Like I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't.
Sometimes something's just pretty good.
Yeah, not everything.
Yeah, it was like it was like an hour.
Yeah, not everything has to be like fucking game of the year crazy,
Mm-hmm.
Just be a good time.
I also played Thank Goodness You're Here, which is a comedy game where you're a tiny little guy and you're going around in like a suit and tie, and you go around punching everything, and then people are like, thanks goodness you're here, I need you to do this fetch quest for me. You walk around this town, and it's just very funny. Like it has great comedic timing in terms of like how it edits stuff. So it was just good. It was just a fun like 2-hour game.
Nice.
And it had a great little ending sequence of Matt. Like it's just like fucking, it gets weird. there are times where it just gets fucking bizarre, and you just rolling with it. It was great. Like you go to the meat dimension.
Hell yeah.
And it's just gross. Just like people. It's like, look at that hole. My wife could learn a thing or two.
Jesus.
God. Like, it's got some good crude humor. But it's just very charming.
Yeah.
Another one that's just like, it starts out with like showing advertisements for like the shops that are in this town you're in. Mm-hmm. One of them is for peens. Not quite peas, not quite beans. Peens. I don't know. It's just funny. It's stupid, but it's funny.
I mean, yeah. Oh man, sometimes that shit just hits.
And it's just very funny. Like you have a jump button and you have like a punch button. You just fucking punch everything. Like all the objects, you just like hit them and they like crumple a little bit.
Oh, so this 2-button game is fine.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but VF is 3 buttons.
It's 2 plus 1.
If it didn't have a block button, it would be perfect.
You're gonna be so in on R.E.V.O. It's 2 buttons and there's no block button. It's just down. They're down back. Great. Back but down back. We're locking them in.
Look, I prefer 4 or 6 for a fighting game, but
what about 8?
Evil Zone has showed me the beauty of the 2-button game.
Yeah, when anytime you hit one of those buttons, it's accompanied by a cutscene. Like when anime.
It's just when anime happens from one button, sometimes that's good.
Yeah. Sometimes you shoot 3 times from one button and it's fucking stupid. Sometimes you teleport. Sometimes you teleport and it's even stupider.
God.
We played. I can't remember which one it was.
Fuck.
Was it the
fucking Gun Girl, dude?
I'll It has to be in my history because we looked up the. Had to look on the freaking wiki. I'll bet if I do tier, Samurai Deeper, right?
Samurai Deeper
Kyo for the PlayStation 1. This says Kyo is Kyo, but there might have been a U at the end in our version.
Yeah, it's this game.
Yeah, well, because I was looking at the tier list that we looked up. So Hank decided to choose the girl with a gun first, and I didn't have a gun, and guess who fucking lost miserably? It was awful because this game is like you have 4 buttons, right? 4-button fighter, and like what 3 of those at least are specials. Like you just have a 1-button special on them, and it's sick. But her 1-button special is she shoots 3 times, and one of them is even low. So like and then she has like a jump and stuff. Like I was getting absolutely blasted, and it felt impossible to deal with. And then I'm like, there's no like, she's like S plus tier. Like there's no fucking way. She's impossible. This has to be like a broken boss character. She has to be banned. And we looked it up, and in one tier list she's in like C, and in the other one she's B. And I'm like, what the fuck broken shit happens with these characters then? And we tested it, and both of them of like there's 2 separate lists, and both of them have an S character, different S character, that has a teleport. Like you just press a button and you teleport, and one of them goes into an overhead, and I'm like, oh, this is like ridiculous. Like it's so dumb. That shit's just
that game's great.
That shit's just always so funny. It's happened a couple of times. I mean, I think there's only been that in the PlayStation games. But like sometimes you encounter a character and you're like, this is just like a noob killer. Like they have a thing that you don't know the system or something, and like they're just gonna rinse you. And then there's been a couple of times where I'm like, this person has to be like the most broken fucking ridiculous character in the entire game. And then the first one was what's his name, Clive? No, not Clive. Cliff from Guilty Gear accent core + R or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he has to be broken, dude. This is insane. Like this shit's ridiculous. He was like F tier.
Like he was literally the bottom tier character in that game.
It felt so bad. It felt so far beyond, I just don't know how to deal with this. It felt so far beyond that. Like Zangief or something, like a grappler, you're like, okay, I'm just getting grappled, like whatever. But holy shit.
It just be like that sometimes.
Yeah, man. It's so funny every time too.
Yeah. Your characters are they're just different at different skill levels and knowledge levels.
Oh yeah, man. That's like if Street Fighter 6 was balancing based on like low rank wins, it's like modern Zangief, modern Honda, and like I forget who was high up. There was another modern character,
modern Blanca maybe,
something. Yeah, I don't know. He might be a little too complex.
Modern Luke.
Yeah, dude, it's just wildly different though.
Yeah.
And like it's very interesting seeing people bicker about that shit. Cuz like you have the people who don't fucking understand that you can't just balance for pros, but then you have the people who don't understand that you can't just balance for casuals in like in that game specifically. That's very funny. Yeah, that's been good times. You played
of yeah.
Oh, I had one I wanted to ask you about actually.
Sure.
Cuz I had seen it. I didn't play it, but it looked so visually interesting, and then you played it. So what did you think of Felvidek? Felvidek?
Yeah. It's like a 4-hour RPG that I haven't finished yet, I'll say, but it fucking whips. It's really fucking cool. I really like it. I need to finish it. The music is really fucking good.
Nice.
Like the battle theme just fucking whips. And it's like the thing is it's kind of hard. Like the like every fight I'm in, I'm like fucking fighting for my life. There isn't like been an opportunity to grind or anything. That's kind of why I haven't finished it. I would say if it had been easier, I probably would have breezed through.
Not a real gamer,
but it actually has texture, which is good in an RPG. I'll say
it has a very interesting look.
There were like, so there will be like alternate scenarios in it where if you go to this certain place at this point in the game where you have progressed the story mode, there will be like an optional quest or something. And like really early on, there was like a dude in the basement of the starting building, and you talk to him, and he took me to like an unwinnable fight, and I just got murdered. And I was like, all right, fucking cool. And then like I did one story thing and went back there, and that guy was not there. I'm like, this game's wild.
Nice.
But also like the language it used, like it's just very funny. It has like a mix of trying to be of like old timey and kind of modern. That's just fucking weird. That's with it's fantasy medieval stuff. But there's some good like nightmare enemies, like just like people with like their like stomach is like a big mouth or whatever.
Nice.
Because there's this weird cult, and you're it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to, and it just like I really like its style with like these old timey character drawings that are in the battles, but also like, you know, sometimes you'll show your characters just like a extremely PS1 era model, 3D model.
Yeah.
And its cutscenes have been like they're not a lot of them, but they're like just got really good. They're very paced well. Like they have good comedic timing and stuff. That's just been. I like it. It's cool. It's definitely worth checking out. And I again, I haven't finished it, but I think it's only like 4 hours.
Nice.
Or probably less if you could like beat it.
Yeah, if you were good.
Yeah. I'm using my potions. I'm like low on resources.
Imagine using potions in a RPG.
If you just look at on the Steam page, like the way your character runs around on the overworld, it just looks very funny.
Yeah, I was seeing that when I looked at it. I'm like, this sounds familiar, and then it's hard to fucking forget how that game looks.
And for a game that's made in RPG Maker, they did a really good job sanding off the RPG Maker cruft that I generally hate.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that at all. That's really cool. That might be the best RPG Maker game I've seen. I didn't know it was RPG Maker at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got it on the Steam sale for, under $10 or whatever.
Yeah.
The other small video game I played was Minami Lane, which is a cozy game. You're like managing a little street. You're like building.
Why are you losing your mind? A cozy game?
Because that's my meme. Is I hate cozy because I hate how cozy became a fucking brand thing. Where like they're always talking about the cozy game on. Yeah. But it's just become like a thing to sell, like a marketing thing to sell games that are boring.
Yeah, man, it's even right here. Build your own street in this tiny, cozy, casual management.
Yeah, no, it's just all these games now, they use the word cozy to describe them. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it's gotten too much.
You got a gentle soundtrack and a pastel color palette, and you think you're cozy.
Uh-huh. There's like whole streams for just cozy games.
Oh,
like
yeah.
It's a total, it's like the anti-horror marketing machine where it's just like, well, it's cozy, so it's all related. Except like with horror, at least there's like blood and visceral. That's like, yeah, I can get. And cozy, it's like, what links all these games? They're kind of boring.
what links them? I know what links them. It's the easiest thing in the world, Tank.
You can pet a cat, which links all
them,
video games now.
What links them is that they are absolutely stress-free, which means people create their own stress by creating fucking Excel spreadsheets for them and trying to optimize the shit out of their Stardew Valley farm. And then applying that to all of these cozy games. And then like, oh, it's so relaxing. And they're like sweating about their blueberry crops coming in on time. All right, so what's so it looks like you build like your own little street?
Yeah. It's like very light management sim style game. And it's like mission based. They're like 5 missions or whatever. Like it's very short. It's not an expensive game. Like it's a tiny ass thing. I think it was like it was like a 2-hour experience or whatever, which is kind of just what I wanted. Like I just wanted a sort of, I don't know, I guess I'm closer to 3. I just wanted like a management thing that was like very simple and I wouldn't spend a lot of time with it and then be done.
Brother,
which is why I got it.
Are there bots reviewing this fucking game? What is this? There are 2 separate people. I just randomly saw this because they're right by each other. They're 2 separate people with separate accounts. One posted on the 28th of November, one on the 25th. One has 5 hours. The game started. The audio. Mute it. I don't want to watch the video. Chrome's not letting me mute it. Unbelievable. Get out of here, Steam. Assuming you can play a fucking video. As I was saying,
this is why I have Steam muted at a hardware level. At a system level.
One has 72 products in account, one 583, 12 reviews and 94 respectively. One has 5 hours in game and one has 2.9. And they're formatted differently, but they both say it's very cozy and chill, even if it is pretty short. Happy face. Nice if you just need a couple of hours to unwind. Cute and stress-free, plus you can pet cats.
It's all true.
Oh,
look,
no.
I just think...
They you know what? The ending is different. Did someone... Did they copy this, or did they just happen to say verbatim the same, like, first half?
I don't...
This? That's
I
crazy.
mean, it could be copied. I would not be surprised if they just verbatim said the first thing, because that's the thing with these cozy games. They like they're here to like market on these exact same lines over and over that are like very specific.
Like, I would love to do it. Like, it has to be a surplus in 99% of these reviews that use the word cozy in the review.
Yeah.
I like how they say it's pretty chill and cozy, even if it is pretty short. As if, like, the cozy game has to be a fucking infinite farming simulator that you sink 4,000 hours into. Like, this, I feel like this is more of a cozy game. Like, something short and sweet.
Yeah.
Personally, anyway.
Yeah. It's just, like, the way that, like, cozy in marketing for video games... Like, it started showing up, and it's just, like, been a virus that we're like, now you can't describe any of these games without using the word cozy.
Yeah. It's, it was really eating, like, it took over the farming sim genre, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're putting out anything inspired by Stardew Valley, if it's not, like, cozy... people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Like, even freaking Graveyard Keeper, someone was like, it's pretty chill and cozy. I'm like, should it be, though? Is that how it should
be? Do you mean boring? Is that what you mean?
Here's the thing. Especially, like, with Graveyard Keeper. But like any like even Stardew Valley or something, there's so much space in that like type of sim or that type of game. Like, what if it wasn't cozy, but it wasn't like straight up horror or anything? What if it was just unsettling? Like, what if it was eerie?
Yeah.
Like, that could be cool. But nah, shit's cozy.
No, it's cozy.
Or
if
even,
you have if you have like downtime or
even,
whatever.
Like, have you seen Tiny Glade at all?
No.
So there's like 3 things. Do you know Townscaper?
No.
No. Okay, that one's a little older. It's like, if you can imagine, like, I don't know, like a Venetian town, or like little seaside town with like colorful buildings and that sort of shit. They're like different heights. You start like on an infinite thing of water, and you can just like design a little town. It's less of a game and more of like literally building a little aesthetic city. And doing whatever you want.
Which is what I didn't like. The reason I bought this one is because it was like mission focused. Like,
yeah,
I like really, goals.
This is more of like, that's all there is. It's honestly more of like a 3D modeler.
Yeah.
And some of the procedural stuff is like cool, right? But there is that, and then there was Summer House, which you're doing the same thing, but it's a 2D thing, and you're doing like a little house and building it how you want. And the big one that took off recently, partially because it does a lot of really cool procedural stuff with what you're building, is Tiny Glade. And all of them say cozy, and those are, to me, like, they're really boring. And it got a shitload of praise. All of them did. And I don't know that they don't deserve it, but like, everyone's like, oh, it's so cozy, it's whatever. I'm like, have you played it more than like 2 hours? What do you do with this game? Like, you just want to, like, if you're into designing stuff, sure. If like you're into the architecture side of that shit, yeah, absolutely. Like, see what it can do. And like,
this person has 157 hours in Tiny Glade.
Hell yeah, brother. Did they describe it as cozy? Someone out there has like 4,000 hours. And they're like, it's an
like their fucking review is fucking like a spreadsheet of like check marks.
Oh, those are those people. Okay.
Story. No story.
I got it, and it looked really good. It just doesn't play super nice on deck.
Sure.
Or on my computer. Like, it's not a thing where you even need the FPS, but just like moving around felt muddy, and I was not about it. I don't get this at all. This game doesn't relax you at first. Learning curve. Is there a learning curve in this game with zero pressure and zero incentive?
Yeah, you have to make choices about what fucking wallpaper you're using or whatever. Like, it's stressful. Have you ever tried to fucking decorate in real life? That's stressful. That's pure stress. Pure stress.
Dude, people learned that lesson in fucking Animal Crossing New Horizons. For years. Everybody's been fucking begging to be able to place items outside since like 2001. They've been fiending for it. And then they gave them the ability, and now suddenly everybody's got choice paralysis and burnout. Like, they weren't ready for that shit. You need limitations.
Yeah.
I wanted a yard. Like a little outdoor area. I didn't want the whole island. That's too much. Now I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and that's my thing with like so the playing Minami Lane, like there's a mission where it's like you take over a street that's all like shops that's like selling junk food or whatever. They're like just small shops, and it's like, yeah, make this street more beautiful or whatever, which involves destroying all the shops and replacing them with things that aren't places where people buy food. And I'm like, by the end of this, I'm like, yeah, my street's fucking, now it's a park and a thing, but nobody has anywhere to buy food, and that doesn't matter because you don't care about that. It's like just this is like weird gentrification nightmare space is like is the actual reality of this. I'm like, okay, Oh, you see, this game is political. I see. People need shit to live, okay?
Well,
that doesn't matter in your cozy game. You just want fucking there to be plants everywhere so that cats show up. It's also pro wild cat for some reason.
You gotta write a negative
like
review. I don't like the gentrification, the pro gentrification stance of this game. It's not cozy. It's dangerous.
Like I can't fucking go anywhere to buy a fucking soda anymore. Like God,
dude, you're speaking to my heart. Like
there's just this fucking hot spring resort thing or whatever.
In my hometown, there used to be this little burger joint, and it was fucking great. This guy ran it for years. He retired, sold it, and the new people came in. It was still good. Kept it. I mean, they were doing a good job. Everything was fine, except they decided that they didn't need to pay their taxes, and that didn't work out. So the place got tanked, and they just, instead of trying to find new owners or anything else, it was just bulldozed, and they put up like a fucking veterans memorial park. My town has 2,000 people in it. Like, this is stupid. Like, if you had other things, sure. If you had notable people who fought in a war, sure. They just fucking did it, and there's now like a tiny little gazebo. There's never anybody there because it's a small fucking town, so like people aren't walking to begin with, and like there's no reason to stop. And I'm like, you used to have a place where you could buy food and sit, and it was nice, and you could enjoy a burger and a root beer, and now you got nothing. You got grass that you got to mow, and that's it. I hate it.
Yeah.
So I feel that one. Fucking taking down the food places. That's how you. That's how you get people to like interact. It's all food, man.
Yep. Also, there's just like a lot of this game is just like click on all the garbage. Oh, and then you unlock not having to click on the garbage anymore. So then you just sit there. You got to click on the cats as they show up. Click on the bicycles as they roll past.
Nice.
It's like all there is to do. You can because you can click on people and like see their thoughts, but it's only like 5 thoughts. It's like every store is also like there's a correct way that on this instance of the map the store needs to be set up so that everybody will give it 5 stars. And it's like, yeah, people don't have an actual individual taste. They're just, the masses have decided old people like this, young people like this. So you make the old person shop and you make the young person shop, and everything's solved. And then maybe if it's a map with wild events, maybe their tastes change one day.
Yeah.
This is weird. So like, I don't know, like on one hand the game is fine, it's doing what it's set to do. On the other hand, I'm like, it's kind of like fucked up. It's kind of gross.
See, it
the
sounds
worldview you're selling.
It sounds like a good candidate to have to like if it leaned into like those undertones or something.
Yeah,
like
sure.
If it leaned
that
into
would be
being like weird and.
But it's too
shitty.
busy being a cozy game. So it's not going to fucking go anywhere with anything. It's not going to think about... That's what I think. It's like it's not going to think about the realities of the world it's purporting to establish or whatever. Like,
that's
it's just not...
That's like actually the game that I want. And it's... I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Like, the closest I've gotten... I haven't looked deep into it because, to be honest, I hate the fucking people that surround these games. But, like, the back rooms type stuff.
Sure.
I don't want... jump scares. I don't want like gore necessarily. I mean, not that I mind that in video games, but like I want to play a game that has substance. Like I want it there to be gameplay. I don't want a walking simulator, but I want it to be eerie. I want it to be a little unsettling, and like keep that, but not like let it consume where it's like, oh, it's unsettling for like 6 hours, then it's Elder Gods or something. Like
yeah.
Just give me the farming sim that is unsettling, or the cozy unsettling game, something. And like I haven't found it. Someone has to be. It has to be out there. There's so many games at this point, but
there are so many games. I will just shout out like probably my favorite cozy style game.
Yeah.
A thing that I would say is like that is Dwarf Romantic, which is just tile placer game where you're matching tile types, but it's all like woodlands and farm stuff. But it's just like, yeah, you're just placing these nice tiles and then you lose because you can't. Eventually, you'll just like you won't be able to place anything or whatever. Like the fact that it's just like eventually you lose.
So,
like theoretically, you could play it, I guess, in a way where you didn't lose, but my experience with it is you play it for a bit and then you lose.
This guy's calling out the king. Golf Romantic is fucking great. So I love that system. First off, it's great because they do have a free build mode for people who just really want to make a little thing, which is nice. That's like what
as an
like
extra mode
or something.
Yeah.
That's what that shit should be as an extra.
Yeah, Minami Lane has a forever play mode that I'm never going to touch.
Yeah, sure. But the fact that it's there, excellent.
Yeah.
Dwarf Romantic is the reason why I fucking hated Terra Nil so much.
Hell yeah.
I thought Terra Nil was going to be Dwarf Romantic, but like the vibe that Terra Nil is. And instead, it's like this short little contained thing. Maybe they've updated it, and if they did, that'd be fantastic. But I'm like, I just want to keep going until I want to either be able to focus on what I'm doing and really try to extend my run for as long as I can by playing optimally, or I just want to get fucked because I didn't I'm not thinking, I'm just placing. I want that, and it's not that at all. It's like fucking impossible to lose in Terra Nil because it's designed to be a little like 5-hour thing.
No, I need a video game that's going to say fuck you sometimes.
Yeah, as someone who is now into fighting games, I get it.
You know? Find you a game that can do both.
Hell yeah, dude. That's so good.
And my last video game I'm going to talk a little bit about is I haven't played in a while, but I've been playing Metaphor ReFantazio, the new game from the Persona devs. It's dark medieval fantasy Persona. And it's good. I really like the fucking music and all the art design. It's like art design the game. Like, cuz that's a game where like the character models, 3D character models, you look at them and they're fucking bad. They're like PS3 era. They're still on the Persona 5 engine, which is a PS3 engine. Like, but you know, they have those nice drawings of their face.
Hell yeah.
So it makes up for it completely. And it just doesn't matter. It just fucking, it's all like art direction and looking good. And as an RPG, it has, the game flow is really good. The tension of going, like it has the dungeon thing of the push and pull in an RPG of, this is a dungeon. You're strapped. It is about using your resources and until you've expended all of them and then getting the fuck out. It's not about like each individual fight is hard. It's about managing your resources over the course of many fights, which is really the thing that I like more in RPGs. I like the dungeon management stuff, honestly. Yeah. And it's the thing that something like Felvidek doesn't get at all. Like, a lot of modern RPGs are like, we're gonna make every fight matter. I'm like, you're fucking missing the point. But like, if you make every fight hard, but you heal afterwards, this is not actually the thing I want.
Yeah.
So yeah. So just like, you know, the only problem is that's a, you know, whatever 100-hour game, and I just haven't sunk that much time into it. I'm on like the first real dungeon. I'm like in the middle of it. But it's very good. Music slaps. That's like the important thing.
Hell yes.
But you can pet a cat, so it's a cozy game.
It's a cozy game.
Where the king was murdered in his bed. Because I was also playing this is on the list. I was playing Dragon Age Veilguard.
I was gonna call you.
There's
out
just
on
like
that.
there's just like no. I haven't played it just because there's like no sauce in that story, as far as being a dark RPG like fantasy world. They've like sanded off a lot of the setting stuff of Dragon Age for that one, I feel like.
Gotcha.
Like, in terms of, like, specifically, they've sanded off the fantasy racism. Oh. There's lots of fantasy racism in Metaphor. I'm just like, oh, yeah, this is the real shit. Like, I don't know. They're just, like... There's just something about Veilguard that the way that they've set up your character as being great, but you're not carrying over your character from the previous game, I just felt like weirdly disconnected from my character. I didn't feel like I inhabited them. Like they were just there. And I like messed with Character Creator for fucking hours trying to like find a character that I could connect to at all. And I just couldn't fucking do it. You know?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess I'd assume that you just brought your past shit over.
No, Dragon Age restarts you with a new character every game.
I thought it was,
which makes it a better jumping on point if you're like I really only started with the last one, Dragon Age Inquisition, because that's the one that's the most like Mass Effect. And I fucking love Inquisition, but Inquisition, I knew why my character, like they gave your character a specific thing where they have been gifted with this power to close these fucked up portals that are opening everywhere. So you have to be the one who's doing this. Whereas in this one, you're just like the guy who actually cared about the plot brought you along and he gets hurt and now you're the new leader. And like you pick a backstory for why your character is cool and then he like exposits at you about it at some point while he's like in his like dying deathbed or whatever. They didn't have the balls to kill him, so he's just like in bed with an injury for like all of the game so far. But it is a game where like the main thrust of the story is picking up a plot thread that they left at the end of the last game. So it's just that part's just weird to me. Like I really wish I were just playing my character from the previous game. Like that would solve my problem with it, but I don't know. And it's like it's not an art. It's extremely like an action game at this point. Also, so I don't know. I might go back to it, but like the story was not getting me at all. It was all like saying stuff instead of like me feeling any connection to anything. I don't know. And I feel weird about it because I do know that people are shitting on the story for stupid reasons. But it just wasn't grabbing me.
Yeah.
Not in like I hate it way, just in the like, yeah, I'd just rather do other stuff.
They can't all hit.
No, everything must hit exactly for me. Well, it's just a bummer because I really, really liked the last one.
Sure.
I liked Inquisition a lot, even though that was a fucking like bloat RPG. Like that is a game people burned out on because the starting area is just too fucking big. So anyone that tried to do everything in the starting area before moving on, they like just like gave up. They completely burned out on the game before they did it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I just decided I'm going to do what I enjoy and then move on. And that worked out great for me with that game.
Yeah.
But so there's a chance I go back to Dragon Age Veilguard and like it gets better or does something that like actually engages me, but which is where I was at with it. Because that's famously what happened with Mass Effect. The first Mass Effect for me was I stopped playing and like just hate talked on that game and then I went back to it and then I love it. But
I've never done that.
Yeah. I just really didn't like the Mako tank sections, and I played the worst one in the game, and then I quit.
I'll be real. When I played the first Mass Effect, I didn't.
Yeah.
I had heard about people hating those sections. I didn't get what the hate was. It was fun. I don't know why. Like, my brain was just like, this feels okay. The controls just happened to like vibe with me, I guess.
Yeah. There's this mission on an ice planet where you're like being shot at, and it felt like I was playing a cover shooter where I had no cover. And I would just die. Likewise. Or like I'm just like backing up over a hill and then like inching forward to shoot a thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And like right before it, there was just a guy who was just there to do the exposition. Like it just had endless exposition dialogue to give, where you like just menu. And like I just like clicked on all of it out of like, you know, gamer compulsion. And I was like, why does this guy have so many things to say that I don't care about at all? But I'm just here. I don't know. But whatever. Like, but you know, the main story of that game is good. It's got a good mystery thrust to it. Good characters.
Yeah, man.
Veilguard just has not grabbed me in that way. And like the other characters, they're fine. None of them I'm like super into, but I don't. It's really the main character that I'm like, ugh. I just don't have a connection to this character.
Yeah.
Man, I think it's partially I don't like either of the female voices. I don't like them.
Yeah, that would do it. It's always a little rough. Like, I think in the games I've played where the voices aren't great, at least like the other stuff is hitting. But like if it was yeah, that'd be no good.
I changed my character's voice to the other one to see if that was better, and it's just not doing it for me.
Have you tried changing the language though? That was my Breath of the Wild tactic. I was like, this is just more palatable in any other language.
I would definitely Breath of the Wild. That probably would have worked. I fucking hated Zelda's English
so.
acting.
I don't want to say the voice actor did a bad job, but like,
no, it's her direction. It's the direction they gave her. It's not...
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I was playing in Russian. I checked out every other language. They all sounded fine. Probably because I didn't have the nuances of like the accents or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I think that's it for me in video games. Yeah.
I didn't play any games, but I read something about people who play games.
Sure.
Young ladies don't play fighting games.
Oh, manga.
An ongoing manga.
Ongoing.
It's fucking great. It's so good, dude. I didn't expect it to be that good. It's also gay as hell. Like,
hell yeah.
The woman who writes and draws it, she's like known for doing Yuri stuff before this, so it's like just those two things. But also like the fighting game stuff is like technical. Like after a chapter, she'll have like list of terms, and like because she's using real shit. Like she has the characters like talking about fighting games, and it's like accurate. And it's so funny. So like whenever she's talking about like cancelable moves or whatever, like she has to explain it. It's just really good. I mean, it's just like the premise is that this person is going to like an academy for girls who are mostly rich, but she's there on a scholarship, and she's like, it's how girls can grow up to become like ladies, and hence the title. And she stumbles upon, I think, an exchange student who's like very demure, super beautiful. All these other girls are like jealous of her. They think she's gorgeous. Oh my god, like kind of get like some of that like Japanese schoolgirl crush on a girl stuff going. And our main character like walks in on her playing a fighting game, and it all unravels, and then it gets like a little like heated in multiple ways, but it's like, I want to fucking fight you. And so they're like hiding at night and shit, and then it turns into like you got a little ragtag group, and there's a tournament. There's a stand-in for R.E.V.O. They're playing. I forget what the game is. It's like a weird. If you look at all the terms and the shit that's going on, it's like a bit of a combo of like Street Fighter 3 and 4, but it's called something legally distinct. They're going to like, what the hell is the tournament name? It's not R.E.V.O. It's like A.V.O. or something. It's like that sort of shit. It's really good. I flew through that. Had a great time.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Highly, highly recommend. Though it is ongoing. I hate that about it. I don't want to have to keep up. Yeah. What did you
talk about next?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm curious what you thought. I see you watch Glass Onion.
I did. I watched it when I was at my parents'.
I was curious what you thought of it, because me and Anya watched it a while back.
It was great. It was a perfect mystery thing. Great time. Loved it.
Yeah, it was a solid follow-up.
Yeah, totally.
Man, I should ask my parents if they've watched it, because we watched the first one and they really enjoyed it. You know, I don't know who the fuck wouldn't. Crazy people, I guess. But I don't know if they've seen the second. Yeah, it was really solid.
Look, I'm a sucker for showing a person spying on another person and then another person spying on them, spying on. That shit's funny.
Hell yeah, man. Just the fucking.
Without getting too much into it, I love that the key to unraveling the mystery is, oh, he's just a fucking idiot.
Dude, that I was literally gonna say that. Like, just the fact, like, you're an idiot is like the whole thing.
It's like the mistake is assuming he's smart. That's the key to mistake.
I will. That's like my only. It's like a timing thing, but that's like my only if there's even beef to be had with the film, that's like my only thing is I'm like, this is too topical for me.
Sure.
Like, I don't like being confronted with this sort of shit right now.
It is kind of locked in time watching it now because it's such a COVID movie.
Yeah. It's oh well.
You know,
still solid. Yeah. It doesn't like ruin it or anything.
No.
It's like what the fuck what manga did we read that had Trump in it?
It was a Naoki Urasawa thing.
Yeah.
I forget what it was.
Trump just showed up and I was like,
It was female Trump.
It doesn't matter, dude. I was like going crazy. I was like, I'm not help.
I mean,
it was just so unexpected. Like, it was just so on the nose.
Sure.
Like, it wasn't even.
I mean, Pluto is on the nose too with its fucking Iraq war stuff.
See, that's different for me because it's not like a. Like, it's more of a. The Trump stand-in felt just like this is Donald Trump. Like, it felt like this is exact, more so than like this is an adjacent thing or an analogy or whatever. I think is the difference. Okay. The war in Iraq. It's about robots, Hank. Completely different. He doesn't know what allegory is.
It's not weapons of mass destruction.
No. Glass Onion's a good time.
Yeah, it's just really good.
I also just like I like seeing Benoit Blanc doing his thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fucking smoking the cigar, it sets off the thing.
Sitting in the bathtub.
Hell yeah. I forget what's the like. How does he get there? Like someone invited him or whatever, but like he wasn't. He just like he's just like there, right? It's not like he was purposely invited by the dude.
Well, you get a reveal of what actually happened later, but the initial setup is he received one of the invites.
Yeah.
But he was not supposed to have been sent one.
Yeah. Yeah.
In reality, like he was not sent one. Yeah.
No, but just like from the get go, it like locked me in.
Yeah, Daniel Craig, he's very funny doing that character.
I don't think anything tops the fucking donut bit from the first movie. Like it's so fucking good. Between that and I will not eat one iota of shit.
Well, I just love it's in the first movie. I love when he describes himself as a detective as like a truffle pig. He's just fucking he's just hanging out and rooting around, you know? He's not gonna like clever it out. And I love it, the murder mystery thing where he immediately solved the thing before even the murder occurs for the game.
In the second one, yeah.
And Glass
dude,
Onion,
that one's so good.
Are we allowed to solve yet? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then he immediately has the whole solution. Then Edward Norton gets shot with an arrow.
It's so fucking good, dude. He's so excited.
He's so excited.
I won! What did he get? It's like a fucking iPad or something? Something like that?
Well, he asked, do we win anything?
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like, I guess you get a fucking iPad. So Edward Norton like throws an iPad at him.
He's all in. An iPad.
He's like, I didn't actually want an iPad. It's not. Yeah, good movie. Another movie I watched.
Whoa.
Leda, The Fantastic Adventure of Yohko.
I can't.
Which is anime.
Is it
from 1985? This is the one with the good mech.
I was gonna ask. I'm like, that's the only one I could think of. Hell yeah, dude.
The extremely simple mech design with the wide hips and the tiny pointy red head that just has like an open window. Like the cockpit is the girl's like sitting in this like mechanical thing that eventually like goes out and becomes its own separate little plane. But like she's just like in like a stone room that just has a big open fucking window with a little railing in front of her. And you're just piloting it. And to get in and out of the mech, it just has like a rope ladder that comes out from like the taint of the thing. Yeah, this is just a good, solid, classic isekai thing. A girl goes to a fantasy world where she's like the chosen hero or whatever.
Hell yeah.
And she gets a sword and bikini armor and
I'm in. Butt. I'm all in. A sword?
Meets a talking dog.
Classic. That mech design looks so fucking good though.
Yeah. That's not Leda. Yohko gets her own mech that is like a transforming thing that I'm less enthralled by. It's fine. But it's not perfection.
Yeah.
They had perfection in that one that's the other main girl has it, and it gets like completely fucked up. But and like this is just a solid movie. Like it's not it's not my favorite thing in the world. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. It's good, but I don't know. My big impression, the big thing that left me with was like that mech design fucking rules. I don't know. That movie was pretty good.
Yeah, dude. There's something you can latch onto like that. It's all you need.
And I just saw so part of the reason I watched it is I saw a thing of like someone just posting like an image of 4 classic isekai that were all about girls, and it was about how like this genre used to be about, you know, empowering characters who were that empowered, and that's why older isekai is better than new isekai that's about, you know, I don't know, dudes making women pregnant or whatever. It's like the modern we need to have more children in Japan motivated isekai anime or whatever.
Yeah.
And that list was like Adventures of Yohko, Escaflowne, Magical Girls Rayearth, and Inuyasha.
I was gonna say I would expect Inuyasha to be.
Yeah, and like I want to have seen all these things. So I've seen Escaflowne before. We're doing Inuyasha eventually, and so I watched this movie, and I want to do Rayearth at some point.
I also want to do Rayearth at some point. Showed up on my when I was searching for shit.
I mean, I completed the circle is complete on my soccer Toku picture, so I needed a new thing. Now that Anno is fucking making Gundam, it's completely the cycle is completely complete.
That's so fucking funny, dude. The prophecy.
Yeah, he did Godzilla, he did Ultraman, he did Kamen Rider. Now he's doing Gundam officially.
That's crazy.
Gundam analog.
The fucking YouTube comment Evangelion is back.
Like it fucking went anywhere. He's been making Evangelion for the last fucking 30 years.
Yeah. I also watched a thing, coincidentally.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I watched Kino's Journey, finally. I had that tapped onto me for years. Because after I watched Mushishi in like fucking, I don't know, 2015 or whatever the hell it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, cool, anime can be good. Is there more anime like this? And the internet was pretty much like, not really. And I did see Kino's Journey come up a few times. In the first episode, I was like, this is pretty sick. I like this. It's fitting the vibe pretty much. And then the second episode, she kills a rabbit like 2 minutes in. If that, it might start with her shooting the rabbit, actually. That might be the opening shot. Is like, bam! And coming off of Mushishi, I was like, this isn't the vibe at all. And I bailed, which is hilarious because the second, I vaguely recalled the first episode when I finally did go through it, like however many months back. And the second episode, I'm like, right, this is where I bailed. The second episode, I'm like, oh, fuck, this is like Mushishi, but like grim. Okay. Like, I'm so fucking in. The second, I'm not going to spoil like anything, but like across the show, like stuff gets fucked up. And like a lot of the theme is like the world is imperfect, and that's kind of what makes it perfect. Like they're like shit's fucking ugly, but like that's enthralling. Or like the idea of like, oh, she helps people, and then those people try to fuck her over. And let's like her little talking motorbike is like, would you help people again? And it's like, yeah, probably. That's what you do. And then sometimes they try to kill you and you have to fucking pop off on them with your pistol. And this was, I should mention, because there's 2 of them now. This is the 2003 version. They redid it in, I want to say 2017 is when that came out. I checked that out, but I thought it was more of like, because it's based on light novels. I thought it was going to be like just adapting more stories, but instead like half or more of it was stuff from the original anime. So I'm like, I don't need to. I don't care. I
Sure.
think Kino looks worse. I think they took out like half of the old show is her waking up in the morning and practicing drawing her pistol from her hip and just shwa, shwa, just doing it repeatedly. And they don't show that in the new one as much. I'm like, why am I here?
Sure.
So, it was really good overall. And then the last episode, like, fucking blew me away. Like, it's so fucking good. And it's been bumping around my head ever since I watched it. Like, I think about it constantly. Just was not ready for it.
Sure.
It was a very good show. It's up there for me. And it was a long time coming.
Yeah. I watched the first episode and it just didn't grab me.
You should watch the second episode, though.
Okay. Maybe I'll do that at some point.
I mean, it's, yeah, you know. I think the first episode is a bad indicator of the tone, though maybe it's supposed to lull you into like she's like, it's going on a little journey, a little cozy adventure. It's cozy. It's cozy. And the second episode is like, this isn't cozy at all. It's a cozy anime. Ugh. Pass. Yeah, that's the only thing I watched. Yeah. I read Rin-ne. I don't know how to pronounce that. Rin-ne? Rin-ne?
Rin-ne is how I
guess that's how
thought about it, but I don't know if that's correct.
Yeah. That's a Rumiko Takahashi manga. It's okay. It has the unfortunate position of coming off of everything else she's ever written, which is like fucking brutal. So I think it's kind of mid, which is very funny. It's mid because I'm comparing it to like her other shit. As soon as you compare it to like anything else, you're like, this just is still, the foundation is so solid that it just still surpasses a lot of stuff. Like the art is solid, the jokes are solid. It has the unfortunate like fucking Rumiko Takahashi and creating characters that you want to see grow and intermingle and change and live their lives, except they're caught in a gag manga. Like, it's, name a better combo. I'd say the place where it suffered for me is, and I mentioned this to you a little bit, but in Urusei Yatsura, you have a lot of characters and a lot of diverse characters. Like, you have the aliens, you have the humans, you have different groups, and like they all have different shticks associated with them, and enough different characteristics and places in that universe that even if you're like kind of treading the same ground, it's always different enough. And because of how those characters will interact, right? If you're doing a Ran episode or a chapter, if it's Ran and like when she's introduced, that's completely different from like Ran and blanking on his fucking name. Non-fiance, I guess. Lum's former fiance. Shit, why can't I think of it?
I'll let you stew in that one.
Yeah. It's gonna. I can't. Lum's fiance.
Ray.
There's different shit going on, even if you kind of know what the characters are about, and it's mixed up enough. You're not even if you're going through.
She builds on those characters over time, gives them new bits,
and even if you do consider it like a bit of a loop, that loop is long. If you consider it a pattern of stuff, you're not seeing it back to back. In Rin-ne, it's not necessarily that there's not enough characters, but they're all too. It's like if you're writing a gag manga about people who all work in the same office. So like, there's just not. It didn't feel like there was quite enough variety in like what characters were. Also, there was a lot of overlap. Like, oh, these characters are poor, and that's like the whole fucking gimmick is that they never get to have money, and like they're hungry all the time. Like, oh, these characters are rich, and they like just do whatever the fuck. Oh, these couple of characters are bad, but like they can't. No, the good, they like have a crush on the good guy or whatever, so they can't like reveal that they're bad to certain people, and that loop is very small. Like you're just seeing that shit over and over. Sure. So it's one of those things where like probably if I it did take me way longer to read it. This one took me months to finish, which is far longer than it took me to finish Naruto. Like, says something. I finished Naruto in like a week. I finished this in like 6 months or whatever. And it's just, I think the thing that really pushed it down for me is there is I mean, I'll spoil a little bit. Not that it's a spoiler per se, but it's about Shinigami, right?
Yeah.
Gods of the dead, and like there's a girl who can see ghosts and Shinigami and stuff, and the real reincarnation, all that good shit. There's a chapter, there's a little story where she gets a scythe. And she's like doing some of this shit and like kind of learning how to do it. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that this just gets to be a thing. And it wasn't. And I'm like, I'm so mad right now because it was so good. It was so fucking good. It was the best like onboard to that. It was so fucking cool. But it was and it was late enough that I'm like maybe there's a chance. Like maybe this is just like a thing. And it wasn't. And I'm like, oh, I'm so. Because it was just so cool. Or
it's
like
too good for this world.
There was like a chapter story where the completely evil character, like, what the fuck did they do? They like accidentally reverse curse themselves so that like everything they do ends up being good, and they do enough good to go from being like a devil to an angel. And I was like, this would be such a good long-term bit, but it wasn't. It gets resolved, and then they go back to like their usual shtick. And I'm like, there was so many different points for like those switch-ups that I'm like, if you would have just gone with this would be like, it would completely different. This would be just as good as everything else that you've done, I think. But she just doesn't.
Yeah.
And then you get the usual like, you know, you get like the final fucking arc where it's more of like the little bit of a love story that you get thrown at the end.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, that shit is just good.
Yeah. Had to have
no complaints. Yeah.
Yeah, my experience with Rin-ne was just watching it as it came out, but really only in the context of other anime that was coming out. I'm just like, that was like really the thing solidified in my head, like, oh, Rumiko Takahashi's just fucking better at this than everyone else. Like, dude, even when she's fucking, you know, turning in, you know, C-tier work for her, it's fucking better than everybody else's fucking shit, wild. Unless it's like really good.
I think it's so crazy.
Like her ability to just tell like average, you know, just gag focus, like we're just doing a normal episode of anime or whatever. It's just like so much better. It's just a higher quality. It's just playing the hits.
It's just so crazy. Man, I got the absolute pleasure in the server the other day. Someone didn't know that like all of the shit she did was shit she did. They were like, I thought you just did the Urusei Yatsura. I'm like, no, dude. I've listed them all off. They're like, Jesus Christ. Oh, it was so good. I was so happy getting to share that because it's insane.
It is funny though, because like, I mean, there's so many through lines. Like she'll do like the same versions of. She'll use the archetypes over and over again.
The same
like,
well, that and like the faces, like
yeah,
yeah. It was very funny that they didn't know, but I was like. It was just good getting to be like, yeah, it's fucking nuts. Like her run up until Rin-ne is insane.
Yeah.
The fact that a whiff didn't happen like 2 or 3 in is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's so like, and there are, I should say, for Rin-ne, there's still like moments and stories that are as good as anything else she's ever done. Like the highs are super high. Mm-hmm. It's just that the average is lower.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right to me from what I saw of it.
Mm-hmm. I guess it leads in, so I'll take another slot. I read Kimagure Orange Road, mm-hmm. which is very interesting because it comes up a lot. I guess is like one of the big romance things. Mm-hmm. Manga, anime. It also got like, I think it was anime. It was like an early thing of like anime kind of blowing up a little bit elsewhere. Maybe in the U.S. I think in the U.S. Possibly. Maybe just globally or anywhere outside Japan. I don't know. And it came out a little after Urusei Yatsura and My Son Koku. And it's so funny because it's clearly like the dude who made it was like, what if these two concepts were like blended a little bit and it was all like way more of a male fantasy. It has moments. I think it's good, but it's like it's just so clearly like watered down, not as good Takahashi works.
Sure.
And I don't know. I think because it does the love triangle thing where like mm-hmm. guy likes a girl, but then he's kind of with this other girl. Except it's so much more inexcusable than Godai because the girl he likes him, knows he's in the relationship, and is still just like whatever-ish. And he just doesn't fucking break. I don't know. It's so much worse. It's like if Kyoko was basically throwing herself at Godai and he still just was like too much of a little bitch to break it off. Like it doesn't feel as good in that way. It's definitely a vibe. Like there's a lot of, it's very 80s. And
what if Mason Koku were written by a man?
Yeah, it's something. I was thinking about it while I was reading, and I was like, this is what you read when you're like 14 or something, a 14-year-old boy, and you're like, this is incredible. And then if you're on a good path, eventually you read My Son Koku and you're like, this is good. This is correct. Like this is I enjoyed this thing when I was an early teenager, mid-teenager or whatever. And then this is like the real version. I don't know that I can excuse anyone who's like, I don't know, 20. I saw a thing because I wanted to see how people were comparing these and like what they thought, because it's so close to Takahashi's works. And someone said Kyoko from My Son Koku, like, she's great, she's so cute and blah blah blah, but like, I can't even remember the fucking girl's name from Orange Road. Minako? No, whatever, who cares? Orange Road girl but she's like a goddess. And I'm like, bro, she's like 16. Stop. Get out of here. Oh, and like, yeah, she's fucking drawn that way. Like the dude wasn't holding back. It's not anything crazy, to be clear. Like it's not fully gross, but like you shouldn't be out here over the age of like 17 or 18 maybe. Yeah. Like taking that shit. He also ruined it in like 2 ways. I was at least having like a fun time. And then he introduced, have you seen Time Traveler's Wife, or do you know of it? Movie, book?
No. That one, no. I've heard of that name, but I don't know.
Well,
the time travel
plot
thing in that one
is this guy, as a brief digression to explain the concept, this guy uncontrollably travels through time. He can't control it. Nothing else comes with him, so he shows up ass naked. So this is like a problem for him because he will just show up in public and whatever. And he meets a girl when she's like a child, and it's his wife that he met and married in like his current time. And the first time he like goes back, it's this whole thing, and it's framed as a romance, but like he just grooms the shit out of her, even if unintentionally, right? And it's impossible to rectify that. You can't fucking not make that story grooming.
Yeah, that's a fucked up thing to write.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what that woman was cooking, but like people love this book / movie, and I'm like, this is awful in like every conceivable measure. What are you doing? This guy did that story where like main guy goes back in time unintentionally and meets the girl that he falls for and who likes him. And it's implied that like she recognizes him between these two moments. And I'm like, and not that it's as bad, because like in the Time Traveler's Wife, he's like going back repeatedly as she gets older, and like at one point I think she jumps him and he's like, yeah, sick. So that was rough. This is like a one-time thing, but I'm still like, everybody wants to write the time traveling love story. Nobody wants to fucking deal with the ramifications of having one of your characters groom the other one, apparently. So that was like miserable.
Yeah.
And then the final bit was actually, I felt worse about it because it showed that the dude can actually write. Like, he can do good shit, and he just decided not to do it for the entire run until the last moment. Basically, the girl that the main character has been going out with, by the end of the manga, she's like the only one in the series who doesn't know that main guy and like main girl have a thing for each other. And that he doesn't really want to be dating this girl. And it like ditches the entire tone for a little bit, and it's like just a love like drama, like well written, and she's like upset because nobody told her, and like she's super pissed at all these people who are supposed to be her friends and everything else. And they're like going through all this, and it's really fucking good. And I'm like, what were you doing? What were you cooking for the last like 60 volumes or whatever it was? Like, this is so good. I had
written drama.
Like, I think this is one of the things that like convinced me on it to check out the anime is someone said there's a video and they called it the end of Orangelion instead of Evangelion. And they're like, what if you took the entire anime and everything it was doing and you decided to make a movie to like kind of wrap up, and that movie just fucking threw everything your series has been doing in the dumpster and lit it on fire and then like did something else.
Yeah.
Except it was like as good or better. And I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I'm watching it too. So curious to see how that goes. My understanding is the Urusei Yatsura part of this, by the way, for me, is that the main character has like telepathy. No, wait. He can't read minds. He can like manipulate, move shit and all that stuff, and that's
telekinesis.
Telekinesis, right. Someone else he knows, his cousin or something, has telepathy. Like his whole family does, and they have to hide it and shit. So it's completely irrelevant to the series except hijinks. And the movie, my understanding is that the movie just completely eliminates that. Doesn't even fucking reference it, and it's just like a straight up like little slice of life thing. And the anime leads very heavily into the hijinks stuff.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. It was an interesting read, though, just to see, like, what does off-brand Rumiko Takahashi look like, and it's just shit, kind of.
Yeah.
In a
Wikipedia would have me believe that it got very popular in Europe.
Okay, that makes sense. I covered my bases.
Credited alongside Dragon Ball for introducing entire generations of Europeans to anime and manga.
Okay, I covered my bases. I said global.
It's a sentence in this Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
Or whatever that's worth.
That's what I was pulling from. I just couldn't remember what area it was.
Mm.
Yeah.
You've got another anime on here. Or manga thing.
I do. I have 2 more.
Okay.
Technically. I also talk about Gunsmith Cats. That is, if I recall correctly, the mangaka is the character designer for Bubblegum Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
If you looked at it, it's like very a lot of overlap. Gunsmith Cats is super fun. It's like kind of detective stuff.
Have you been reading it?
I've been reading it. Yeah.
Okay. Because I recently got fed like some AMV in my YouTube algorithm, and I was like, this thing looks fucking great. It's like, because it's only, the anime is only like a 3-episode OVA. Is all it is.
Yeah, it's real. There's not much of it.
But it looks sick, so I'm going to watch that at some point, definitely.
Yeah, my plan, the manga is also not very long. I think it's like 6 volumes of like 400.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having a great time. It's super fun. Yeah. I mean, the character design is great. The fucking, I don't know, man. Like, this dude is he's into 3 things: guns, cars, and women. And like, he's doing the detective thing, and it just kind of works.
Yeah. It has extreme Dirty Pair vibes coming off.
The only rough bit was that this guy like could not help himself, I guess, from having one of the characters be 17 when it starts.
Sure.
And like getting into these there's like an age gap thing, and also the way that he's drawing this character. I'm like, you could have just fucking bumped it at least a year for the fucking legality, if not like a couple years. That would have been nice. But she does, time passes, and she does, like, they skip a thing, and she's like, I am 19, you know. I'm like, okay, good. We fucking at least did the bare minimum to make this acceptable, even if she looks the same. Mm-hmm. But it's been a very breezy read. It's very fun. There's guns. The main character likes shooting guns. It's good. It's not very deep. It's nothing crazy on it.
Yeah, it just looks cool.
That's it, dude. It's just cool. It's just she's doing sick stuff. It's great.
And being an OVA, the animation on that thing looks sick. Just excited for that.
There's a great bit where they're sliding in a car, and the car there's like a little girl in the road. And the fucking person in the passenger seat opens up the door, and as they're sliding, like, grabs the girl and like passes her to the driver, and they pass her out the other door. Like,
hell yeah.
We're just fucking here doing cool shit. That's all you need.
Nice.
Yeah. That'll be a fun one to watch. And we can talk it up.
Yeah. I thought of a thing that I also looked into that I was reading. I looked into Initial D because I was looking at like my Gunpla website, and there was a model kit of the car from Initial D.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, that's sick. I would even maybe consider that one.
I was like, that's sick. I wish I had, feelings about Initial D. And then I looked into the anime, and the anime, unfortunately, is not as old as I wish it were. So it came out at a time when it's using really early CG for the race cars, the car races.
There's no sense of speed.
It's really bad.
It's awful.
So then I started looking at the manga, and then I started. I picked up a volume, and then I just started reading it, and like I just read way more of it one day than I meant to.
Hell yeah!
It's like that's all I've done. Yeah, just it hooked me. It was good.
Was this when you learned that like the soundtrack for it is like all Eurobeat? Or did you know that?
Yeah, well, because I was looking at like what versions do people recommend, and like the fan base is like so married to that original anime because of the soundtrack.
I've watched like one episode of Initial D, and I played one of the games that was influenced by it, but I think is unofficial. I do have all fucking 40 albums of it downloaded and in my library because it just bangs. Like, just good shit.
So they're like, any newer version that doesn't use music like that, like the fan base is going to reject.
Yeah, because it's garbage. What are you doing? My tip for you, if you ever look into the soundtrack stuff, it's all very good. You can't really go wrong. I think they do one per stage, and then there's like one unofficial one that like the community made on their own. They're called non-stop mixes, and it just bleeds into each other, and like they'll sometimes adjust the songs a little bit so that like the beat matches or like the key matches or whatever. They're sick. They're so fucking good. They're done really well.
Yeah, it's just a bummer that like how bad the grades looked in the anime.
Dude, I still remember when I checked it out. It was like the same thing. Like one of my friends have been hyping it up, and I'm like, this doesn't. I feel nothing. Like there's supposed to be like a sense of speed and danger, and I'm like, these CGI cars are really on a road.
Yeah.
I definitely want to check out the manga though. Especially if you're doing it, like I'll polish that shit off.
Yeah, well, that was my one fear was telling you about it, and you just fucking blow past me.
Just read the whole thing. No, fortunately, I'm pretty flush with stuff to read right now.
Because I'm still like trucking along on Ranma.
Yeah, by the time you finish Ranma and Inuyasha, not to mention the other things, I'm gonna have like another 40 manga if I keep going at this pace.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my last late edition. Do you have anything else?
I did read one more thing, and of everything I have ever read on my phone, which is a lot, this is the most non-phone thing I think I've ever read. The amount of 2-page spreads was crazy, and just like visual clarity, like this is not a phone manga in hindsight. And that's it looks like Blame, but Wikipedia says Blam. I think I heard someone pronounce it as Blame, but I'm gonna go with Blam because that's the sound a gun makes, and the main character has a gun, and I think that gun is an argument for like our little like alignment chart for what constitutes a sword in my context, because it's like what the fuck is it? Something graviton gun, and it just fucking burnt, like it takes like a 70-kilometer hole through stuff, or a hole that goes for it just goes through anything, and it's like super explosive. It's a cyberpunk thing, and it's set in a distant future where there is like, I want to say megacity, megapolis, whatever. That doesn't really do it justice, because the idea is that at some point Earth was I forget what the term is. It's like the equivalent of Coruscant, right? It's like a city planet. And there were machines that were building, and at a certain point, we were doing like genetic modifications, and you could get online, and there was like this weird it was like a virtual reality space. It wasn't just internet, and there was like a net terminal gene, and you had to have this gene to go online, and naturally only fucking wealthy people got this gene or got this thing implanted and then passed it to their kids or whatever. So poor people didn't like that, and they wanted to also go in the virtual reality thing, which the rich people were not thrilled about. So they did the sane play of setting up safeguards so that if people without that gene tried to access the net, they got killed. This all kind of unraveled to end up in a spot where nobody has the fucking thing because the safeguards went ham on everybody, and also the process is building the city, like continuing to build elements to like keep up with humanity or whatever, went crazy. So now the mega city is like the size of the fucking solar system, and it's just been building out, and humans are kind of a scarce occurrence. And it's just this person's quest to go and try to find someone with the net terminal gene to access the net and like shut down some of this shit and make things not quite so miserable again. And I was kind of pissed reading it because I don't know how. I've never been told about it. It fucking slaps, dude. The art's really good. It's like all of the fucked up stuff from Berserk and Made in Abyss that I love without the really fucked up stuff that I shouldn't have to deal with in my media. Like, what do I like the most about Made in Abyss? It's the giant fucking chasm and the idea of this chasm. You have this giant mega city, and it's like there's one part. This is like there's like a tiny, teeny little minuscule section of this city, for lack of a better word, this mega structure, and you're given a specific distance in kilometers. I'm not going to spoil it, but like I checked what that distance is, and it was like mind-blowing. Like it was crazy, like what they are implying with that distance in this area. Like it's so fucking cool. There's one part where his beam gets powered up, and it's rad as hell. There is a big old 2-page spread that I wish I had in front of me in a book. It's just really, it's like Rule of Cool all the way, and it's just all gas pretty much.
Sure.
And it's not that long. I think it's like 6 volumes of 300 or 400, something like that again. Yeah, I like finished that. I was just sitting there like, I'm gonna need to read this thing like another 3 times, preferably on at least a big screen, because it's just sick. It's just really, really cool. And it doesn't like hold your hand. There's like almost no exposition. It's like it's truly dripped, and there's not like, it's just such a vibe. It's one of those things where like,
sure,
I have questions, but like I kind of feel like I don't need the questions, maybe, because we're just like they are explaining like stuff that's happening and everything like comes up, but it's just a cool universe to be in and think about.
Sure.
High recommend on that one. There's like fucked up stuff, but there's no fucked up sexual stuff, I'll say. Like there's a lot of body horror type moments, but nobody's like there's not gross stuff. Yeah, that's all I got.
We did it.
Do you want to talk about your vintage and legacy champs?
Fucking Magic the Gathering. Forgot.
Yeah, bitch. You thought we're done? We're here for another 4 hours.
Yeah. North American Vintage and Legacy Champs happened at Eternal Weekend in Pittsburgh, and I watched a lot of vintage. I watched all the vintage, and I watched Legacy Top 8, I think. I don't think I might have watched a little bit of other Legacy. NA was pretty uneventful in that I think the decks people were playing were pretty similar to last year. I think the bans that they've done, they restricted Vexing Bauble, which is the new Modern Horizons card that's like 1 mana, and if your spell costs 0 mana, it gets countered or whatever.
Yeah.
So it like turns off Mox and Force of Will. And that's also in Legacy you can still play 4 of them. So it's a pretty big part of Legacy still. But and they restricted Urza Saga, which is the saga enchantment land that then could also find you a Vexing Bauble.
Yeah.
And they made those changes to nerf the Luris decks, but it didn't really nerf the Luris decks. Like they changed the meta, but it wasn't like it was one of those weird ones where they eliminated this play pattern that existed where you would just your backup plan was like always just make 2 constructs of your Urza Saga. But that play pattern is like makes Legacy or Vintage more about combat, which is probably fine.
Yeah.
It's like if we're getting back to like degenerate winning on the stack stuff, or like combo became better. Well, maybe not combo. Like control definitely became better. Yeah. So I don't know. Vintage was fine. The Dolores won it. It was not a super exciting. It wasn't like when Initiative happened and Mono White Initiative won. Like Mono White Initiative is still a deck, but it's not as good currently. The really exciting thing was someone got like really high playing Mono Red Prison with no power.
Interesting.
Like off the back of Vexing Baubles and Blood Mood, and so that was funny. But like again, that's like doing surprisingly well, not fucking winning or anything. The more interesting thing this year was Legacy Champs NA Finals. And I also watched I haven't gotten to Vintage yet, but I watched the European
expanding the scope.
I watched the European Legacy Champs just to see if it was the same, and it wasn't. It was much more normal.
Oh.
But the decks that got to the finals of Legacy Champs, it was Nadu combo versus this workshop deck that's like only playing Urza's Tower, and some of like the new lands that care about you having Urza's that like are like act like Urza lands or whatever. And then it uses fucking I'm blanking on the card, the one that lets you play artifacts off the top of your library. But the thrust of this is the play patterns of the finals for Legacy were Yu-Gi-Oh play patterns. Like those decks did not really play like Magic. They played like Yu-Gi-Oh decks, where it's like you're playing like a ridiculous number of cards for like free, and you're tutoring for the things you really need. It was very weird. And then you like watching European Legacy, it was much more normal. It felt more like Magic because there was less of the this artifact deck there that just generates an absurd amount of mana. So it's just like playing off the top. It's playing off the top of its library, just an absurd number of cards. It was just weird. Like my main takeaway was like, why did fucking Legacy just look like Yu-Gi-Oh? And like I've played just enough Yu-Gi-Oh to know that's accurate. It's not like a meme. Like these are similar play styles of play.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And that's really the Mystic Forge. That's the name of the card I'm thinking of. Yeah. So that was just bizarre. And that's really all I got on Magic, was just watching Legacy be played like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's the most interesting Legacy has kind of ever been to me. Because Legacy is not a format that I care that much about, but this was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it was so different.
Yeah.
That shit's
because Legacy is mostly a format defined by force of will and brainstorm. Everyone's fucking scared of like Psychic Frog is like the card the Vintage community has been all up in arms about, which is just like a 2-mana Ophidian effect that's like just unreal because it can give itself flying by exiling cards from your library, and you can discard cards to it to increase its power. It's just like it's a creature that if if not met with removal will just win you the game.
Yeah.
And it's blue, so it goes in all the forcible decks.
Naturally. Fucking blue.
Yeah. You know, the best color if you're playing old formats.
Wrong, idiot. Life gain. It's how you know whether you're winning or losing. Gain 4 life? Pay like 8 to gain 4 life? Broken.
What if you paid life to draw cards?
You fool. Your life total is now lower than mine.
Necropotence, the worst card in Ice Age, as said by in Quest magazine.
As said by middle schoolers everywhere for a little bit. Do you see this fucking dummy? He just I didn't even have to attack him. He just went down to like 15. He's down to 10 now. It's crazy. He's killing himself. Oh, I'm dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, on the other hand, I've seen in certain formats, I've seen things where Necropose, you just die. And I've seen people play the One Ring in decks that it just kills you.
Yeah.
Like that could also happen. But yeah.
I mean,
so
that stuff.
Yeah. And we're recording this like one day before there's a new ban announcement, which is hopefully
we missed the
specifically for modern people are like they fucking better ban the One Ring. And the energy deck, like those two are just a problem. I don't know if they'll do it. Like the fact that Legacy played like Yu-Gi-Oh, like you probably should do something about it. But as someone who's not playing Legacy, it was interesting for one tournament.
Let him cook.
I would like them to do something with Vintage just because I thought it was a little boring, and their attempt at their last ban announcement didn't really fucking work. It kind of just made the deck that was already good better.
Hell yeah. And working as intended. Man, what do they call it? Is it I forget what the inverse is. I know there's burf where they try to give something a buff, but it's a nerf. What's the opposite? I guess a nuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they do use burf for a nerf that's actually a buff or something. Either way, that's very funny.
Yeah,
especially for Magic, like we're trying to fix the problem. Uh-oh.
Yeah. The problem is fucking the card Luris.
Yeah.
That you're allowed to play with a fucking companion that's deck building restrictions are like pretty fucking minimal.
Well, especially for that
in Vintage.
Format.
Yeah, in that format specifically. Pretty low. You're not really out here playing 3-mana creatures.
But my Shivan Dragon deck.
Unless, you're playing Nadu or whatever.
Oh, Shivan Dragon.
No one's playing Shivan Dragon.
I'd play Shivan Dragon. I wouldn't do well, but I'd play it. People would respect me.
Yeah, you're playing with Mox and Ancient Tomb. You can get there so fast.
You could cast him like turn 2.
Yeah, it's less, but then you just get blocked by Atraxa. Because everyone's on Atraxa. Atraxa, highly played in these formats.
I mean, like, I was thinking about it. Like, really, it's just you need to be in, like, 93, 94 format. How's that meta going?
Unchanged, probably. So the problem with those old formats is they're not... Well, they're not played as much. So I don't have as much to watch about them.
Yeah.
And they don't change.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's this way for 93, 94, but like conceptually for anything of that nature where you're just focusing on like a static thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
There could, if it's designed well enough, if there's enough space and it's designed well enough, in theory there could be like a shifting meta, right? If this thing is the meta, then one person just brings the answer and decimates.
Yeah, but you just have to have enough games where that's happening.
Yeah. So I don't know if there is a shifting meta like that. That'd be fucking cool. I doubt there is, but it'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my dream.
Yeah. Well, I think I've heard like Netrunner, which is another Richard Garfield card game, that like where like stuff like the company lost the rights to the game or whatever, so now it's just supported by a like community of volunteers, basically. Like there isn't like a company trying to sell cards with it. They're just
Nice.
like, people make proxies or whatever and sell those. So it's a static card pool.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
if it works.
Well, I've heard people that fucking quit Magic to go play that because they like that it's there are never going to be any new cards for this game. They're off the treadmill for their main game they play, right?
Man,
they just get to play the thing they like, and it's not gonna get Modern Horizons up from under them.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What am I fucking looking at here? This looks kind of sick.
Because Netrunner was originally, it was like part of the 2070, like the same, the Johnny Silverhand like universe that Cyberpunk 2077 is in.
So do you just buy like all of the cards? Do you just get the whole thing and then you could do whatever?
Or you proxy them or whatever. Like,
well, yeah, of course, but like,
yeah.
Is there enough where you just like, if they're selling proxies, is it just accepted that like, I guess I don't know if there's like, I mean, if there's like 200, 400, 600 cards, you just get them, I assume. But like, if there's 10,000,
or you just figure out what your deck is and you get your deck
as good as you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would like the concept of just not a static thing is so good.
Mm-hmm.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah, that game is also apparently like asymmetrical, where one player is playing the corporation and the other side is playing a hacker, and you're playing in different ways. So it like always has the control versus combo like style to it or whatever. Like you're never you're never in a mirror match, which I don't know. That part is I don't know.
It sounds like it sounds like we're gonna play fucking Netrunner is what it sounds like is gonna happen, man. If only we had some sort of program to play this for free.
Yeah. Well, let's figure it out.
Hell yeah. I'm down.
I don't really know how it works. I've literally just heard people talking about it on a different podcast.
And now we're there.
Hell yeah. And I think that's a show. I think that's we've reached the end of the line.
I'm fucking glad. See, I knew with that other one. I'm like, we're only 90 minutes in. We're 90 minutes in. We've only covered a few things. This is gonna be a long one. What's our combined total now? We're at like around 4 hours.
Yeah, but 30 minutes of this was new stuff that we didn't have last time, at least. So.
Yeah, but maybe I would have yapped more about something else. Maybe we would have talked.
Not if we were at the 3 hour mark.
Depends on how deep into the magic sauce we got, man.
Well, my Magic Sauce just it wasn't that deep. It was mostly just the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh thing.
Yeah, but if the mood strikes me, it's fucking game over.
That's true.
You're telling me you couldn't talk more Magic right now if we engaged on it?
Oh, I could.
Yeah,
sure.
see.
But there aren't
though.
aren't Gladiator events running right now, so I'm not playing that much Gladiator.
We need to do more of that.
Pioneer Masters did not
mention
not that interesting.
at the risk.
me.
I don't want at the risk of opening the box. Did we mention that we did the draft, the little thing or whatever? Not the draft, but a sealed simulator. Did we mention that on a pile?
I don't think we did.
We did a sealed simulator with. Did we both do? What's that one? Tempest, right? It was sick. It was so good.
Just generated fake booster packs and then built decks out of our piles of cards, like we fucking open boxes.
I think the
that's the shit that gets me going. That's the shit I'm like, hell yeah,
that's
this is magic.
That's dude. Same. I was like, this is hitting every single fucking button at once.
Yeah,
it was so good. I think my only thing is like I could have done with fewer packs just because it took so long to go through them all.
Sure.
Or like looking, I was like, I have like 3 different decks here because that's just so many cards. I'm fine with doing more. I'm fine with putting less of the pack opening and sifting through the cards and doing a little more into the getting more games with probably worse decks.
Sure.
But it doesn't like truly matter. Especially if especially if there's like more people, like if we're doing more of a draft thing.
Yeah.
But that was a good one.
And Tempest is a weird format when you're just playing with Tempest.
Yeah.
Blocking, not a thing.
Dude, just like, well, okay.
These creatures not set up for blocking. Oh. Weird set.
Yeah.
Just out here forest walking my way to victory.
Dude, it was so fucking awful.
Forest walk 3-4. Unbeatable.
Actually unbeatable. Especially when you're not drawing any of this shit to beat it.
Because think of it like this: if you weren't playing green, then you'd just be playing like 2-mana 2/2s.
What was the thing you
that can't block?
What was the thing you kept fucking doing? You kept like doing a buyback on something.
Oh, capsize.
Right, capsize. You kept fucking buybacking capsize. It was nightmare.
That's magic. That's magic to me, baby. I was doing that shit in high school. Oh, love it.
It was very good. It was so funny. I've never
to get up to 12 mana to capsize 2 things a turn. And you get to start capsizing the thing that matters and a land every turn. So you can't play any more lands.
So fucking dumb. Just sitting there stewing, laughing my ass off. Can't do shit about it.
Yeah, man. Magic. That's magic, baby.
As Richard Garfield intended.
Truly. No, we didn't have any walls that could then attack. I think Richard Garfield intended blocking to be a part of Magic the Gathering, honestly.
Yeah. He also intended for people to shuffle their decks back in and play a sub-game of Magic the Gathering.
He expected people to buy like 60 cards and that was it. That'd just be the cards they had that they would play with forever.
He expected people to gamble. Not gamble, bet cards.
Yeah. Because they wouldn't expect anything.
Like it's fucking cardboard. He expected people to what the fuck was it Chaos Orb? Something disc? The one that someone tore up.
The Chaos Orb is you flip it. The Chaos Confetti is the unglued card. where you tear it into pieces and then sprinkle it on the field.
No, but that was because someone did that, though, didn't they? Or something?
Oh, because someone tore a card in half
and like there was no
just hit two
established
things.
thing. Yeah, so they had to like, fuck. Okay, you got it this time, but that shit's banned.
You had to like flip it over a certain height so that it counted.
Yeah, and the dude just like tore it up and did it.
Dexterity check.
Wasn't there there was like people, I feel like I read stories at some point or I heard someone talking about like a fucking old tournament or whatever game and like you could just absolutely bad manners people with ante. Maybe it was a recent, you know what? It might have been a recent-ish, well, recent, the Scheme of Magic thing, where someone like went to a tournament and like they were doing old like ante shit and everybody's on board, right? If you're signing up for an ante thing, that's how it fucking works, dude. Someone like got someone else's card and was like being a dick or whatever, so someone took their shit and then like tore it up.
Gotcha.
And it was a whole fucking thing. It was very funny. I don't know if it happened, but it was funny. It was good storytelling. But yeah, we did that. And it was a good time. You should do it again because I got time.
True. Look, ante is a great format if you just get the cards for your tournament run. That fucking nightmare format I watched, where people were allowed to play with all the copies of Power that they had. Like there were no restrictions. Restrictions were you actually have to have these fucking cards. They were playing on webcams. And they played with ante, and then if you won the card with ante, you had to put that extra copy of that card into your deck for the rest of your tournament run.
That's crazy, dude.
So you could get like an extra box or a Black Lotus or whatever.
That's wild.
And people were playing with like 8 copies of the whatever draw 7 cards card. For 1 mana.
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous.
The actual best card in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, dude.
Draw 3? No.
Cute. Adorable even.
Draw 7, baby. It says draw 8 on it, but one of those goes to ante.
Yeah.
Because your cost is ante an extra card. Not a cost if you win. Because you drew 7 free cards for 1 mana. I think the main thing to remember of the ante format is like a big part of it was people playing with Jeweled Bird or whatever, which allows you to like you can replace it with your ante card.
Oh yeah.
So it's all about like you build your deck in a way to protect your cards partially.
Fucking cowards.
But like then the part of the community was like also like drawing, like altering your Jeweled Birds and trading them around. That was like the first time I'd heard about it as a community thing that was fun. Yeah. Also, they played decks that were all 5 colors. Always that was a requirement. Like your decks were required to be jank as hell.
Yeah, man. I remember someone.
I was like, there was a fun community here. I see.
We lost it.
Yeah. Look, as you get more people into a thing, it gets worse. Because you get too many people that want to ruin it. They're like, this is stupid. It should be fixed.
Yeah, they should add a roll queue.
Exactly. Ruining everything, one roll queue at a time.
Yep. Disgusting.
Anyway, I think that's the podcast now. I think now we've talked about everything. We got Magic Talk in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put Pioneer Masters on Arena, so Pioneer's in there. But it turns out the cards they had left for Pioneer none of them were that exciting to me to play in Gladiator, really.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, these cards would have been cool like 4 years ago or whatever if they were on Arena. They're all so outmoded now.
Yeah, that'll happen.
But if you want to play Bestow on Arena, now's the time.
I don't got the wild cards for it.
Yeah, fair. Saltcirclepod. Anchor.fm/Salt Circle. Saltcirclepod on Twitter and Bluesky. Or not Bluesky.social, whatever. Anchor Salt Circle on YouTube. We're places. You can find this podcast.
Yeah.
It exists. You're listening to it. You know. You
got here. I'm on YouTube at Drathius and Letterboxd.
Hell yeah. Peace.
Peace.